Millionaire son collapses. Only the janitor's daughter knows what to do. It was the biggest day of their high school lives. Graduation. Flashy gowns. Proud families. Cameras clicking. Speeches rehearsed. But for some, this wasn't just about a diploma. For Jason Harrow, it was a celebration of legacy. Top of the class. Quarterback, rich, handsome. Son of billionaire Richard Harrow, owner of half the city. He was used to applause, used to being admired, used to getting anything he wanted. Everyone assumed he had a bright future, a college scholarship, a tech startup waiting, an easy life. But that day, everything changed. As Jason walked up to receive his final award, he staggered. His legs gave out. His hand clutched his chest. He gasped and collapsed in front of the whole school. Screams echoed in the gym. Teachers froze. His friends panicked. No one moved, except one girl. From the corner of the crowd, a quiet figure stepped forward. Old sneakers, faded jeans, hair tied in a messy bun. Maya Lopez, the janitor's daughter, invisible to most of them, mocked by some, including Jason. But she didn't hesitate. While everyone else backed away, she rushed toward him, and in that moment everything flipped. Jason lay motionless on the polished gym floor, his body twitching, mouth open, eyes wide with terror. The crowd stared, frozen. Someone whispered, "Is he dying?" The principal dropped his clipboard. The school nurse fumbled her phone. No one knew what to do, except Maya. She pushed through the crowd, dropping to her knees beside him. "Jason, can you hear me?" she shouted. No response. His lips turned bluish. His chest barely moved. "He's in cardiac arrest," she yelled. "Call 911 NO. Silence. Then chaos. Students scrambled. Teachers yelled. Phones dialed. But Maya stayed focused. She tilted his head back, checked his airway, checked for pulse. Nothing. She started CPR. Steady, rhythmic compressions. 1, 2, 3, 4. "Don't you dare die on me?" Tears welled up in her eyes, but her hands didn't stop. She remembered every second of her MTIT training, practicing on mannequins, in the janitor's closet, after hours, because her dream wasn't to clean floors forever. It was to save lives. And right now, Jason's life was slipping away. Flashback a week earlier. Same school hallway. Different energy. Maya walked in quietly. Books hugged to her chest. Smelled faintly of disinfectant. Jason leaned against his locker, surrounded by friends, loud laughing. Then he looked at her, smirked. "Hey, Maya, you missed a spot." He pointed to the floor. His friends burst out laughing. She froze, red-faced, and kept walking. But that moment, it stayed with her, burned in her mind. And yet, here she was, saving his life anyway. Because heroes don't care who you are. They just care that you live. The ride to redemption. The sirens wailed, flashing red and blue. The ambulance skidded in outside the school gates. Paramedics jumped out. Who performed CPR? Everyone pointed to Maya. She stood silently, hands trembling, sweat on her forehead. "I did," she whispered. The paramedic checked Jason's vitals, then looked at her. "Your compression saved him." Maya's knees gave out. She sat on the curb, trying to breathe. Her dad, Mr. Lopez, ran from the school hallway. "Maya!" He dropped beside her, held her face. "Mija, are you okay?" She nodded, finally letting the tears fall. I thought he was going to die, Papa. Mr. Lopez hugged her tightly, his cleaning gloves still on. You did what no one else could. Jason was rushed into the ambulance, still unconscious but stable. Maya watched it drive off, sirens fading. She didn't know that a teacher had filmed it, that a student had gone live, that within an hour, #janitor's daughter was trending. Flashback 2 months ago, Mr. Lopez sat at the kitchen table. Bills spread out, electricity overdue, rent warning stamped in red. Maya boiled rice silently, her school books stacked high. Papa, she said gently, I got into the EMT volunteer program. He looked up surprised, but we can't afford the fee. I found a way. I'll clean after school with you. I already talked to Nurse Thompson. She said I can train for free if I help her out. He stared at her, eyes glossy. You want to be a doctor? I want to help people. He smiled through the stress. You've always been more than this world lets you be. Back to present day. Maya sat quietly on her bunk bed, her phone buzzing nonstop. Messages. Mentions. News clips. Teen girl saves classmate. Janitor's daughter performs CPR heroics. CPR saves billionaire's son thanks to Maya Lopez. She stared in disbelief as her name flooded the screen. She was trending, but all she could think was, will Jason wake up? Apologies, awakening, and a knock at the door 3 days passed. Silence inside room 402. Machines beeped. 4 lines dripped. The heart monitor blinked, steady, alive. Jason stirred. His eyelids fluttered. The room was dim, but his chest rose smoothly now. He blinked hard. Looked around, confused. Where am I? A nurse rushed in. Jason, you're okay. You had a cardiac event. But you were lucky. Lucky? He croaked. The nurse smiled. A girl saved your life. He froze. A girl? Maya Lopez. Do you remember her? Jason's heart skipped. That name. The one he mocked in the hallway. The janitor's kid? But all he could say was, she saved me. Downstairs in the hospital lobby, Maya sat awkwardly, clutching her backpack. Still in her faded hoodie. Still smelling faintly of bleach, Mr. Lopez paced nervously. I told you, you don't have to see him. But Maya shook her head. He deserves to know what happened to him. That he's alive because someone didn't give up. Just then, a tall man in a crisp black suit stepped into the lobby. Sharp jawline. Gray temples. Eyes filled with weight money can't erase. Richard Harrow. He walked straight to her. Everyone's eyes turned. Phones raised. Flashes sparked. But he knelt down right in front of her. You're Maya? She stood slowly, nervously. Yes, sir. He looked at her not like a billionaire, but like a father who nearly lost his son. Thank you for saving Jason. Maya nodded, eyes lowered. I just did what I was trained to. No, he said quietly, you did what no one else did, you acted. He reached into his coat and pulled out a letter, signed, sealed, the logo of Massachusetts. Medical Academy at the top? A full scholarship, he said softly. Full tuition. Living expenses? Pre-med program if you'll accept. Maya's hands trembled. Her dad choked on a breath. Sir, this is too much. Richard raised his hand. This isn't charity. It's justice. Later that evening, hospital room, Jason sat up now, weak but awake. Maya stood at the door, uncertain. He looked at her. And for once, there was no smirk. Hey, he said. Hi. You saved me. I did. Why? He asked her softly. After how I treated you? She stepped in, sat beside his bed. Because life is bigger than high school, and people deserve to live even if they were jerks. Jason laughed once, then wiped a tear. I was wrong about you, Maya. She stood up to leave, but paused, smiled. You weren't supposed to be right about me anyway. Jason's discharge was quiet. No media, no fanfare. Just a boy who almost died walking out a changed person. But the world? It had already changed. By the time he got home, his name had become a footnote in his own story. Because now it was Maya Lopez who filled the headlines. Janitor's daughter offered full ride. Teen hero trained in closet saves life. Humble beginnings, future doctor. TV interviews called. Radio stations begged. News anchors praised her composure, but Maya? She just kept showing up to school like nothing happened. Except everything had. The same kids who once ignored her now moved aside in the hallways. Some even smiled. Some whispered thank you. Even the teachers who once overlooked her hand in class now asked her to explain things. On the whiteboard, her father walked the halls differently too. Head held a little higher, back a little straighter. Students greeted him now. Morning, Mr. Lopez. Some even helped pick up litter off the floor. One day, Jason found her by the bleachers. She was reading a book. He sat beside her. Hey, he said again. But this time, his voice had no performance in it. Just honesty. Everyone saying I owe you my life. You do. I also owe you an apology. You do. He smiled nervously. You're kind of brutal. I'm just honest. He paused. You know I'm trying, right? She finally looked up. I know, keep trying. And with that, he got up, left her to her peace, not needing to be the center anymore. Weeks later, graduation, again, the school hosted a small award ceremony. Maya didn't expect much. She was already accepted into the academy. That was enough. But when her name was called, the applause shook the walls. Even the principal choked up. We walk past some heroes every day and don't even realize it, he said. But not today. Today we recognize one. As she took the stage, students stood. Even Jason, she didn't cry. But her father did, right there by the mop bucket. Final scene, 1 month later, a letter arrives at their apartment, handwritten, no return address. Maya opens it. You probably don't remember me. But when you saved Jason, you inspired a lot of us. I was thinking of quitting school. Now I want to become a nurse. Thank you for proving people like us matter. A girl from the back row, Maya, folded the letter, smiled softly, then packed her bag, because she had a train to catch, and a future to chase. Sometimes the greatest heroes don't wear medals. They wear worn-out sneakers and smell like floor cleaner. Sometimes the loudest courage comes from the quietest hearts. Maya didn't save Jason to prove anything. She saved him because it was right. She didn't do it for applause or cameras or scholarships. She did it because her heart was trained long before her hands were. In a world that often measures worth by money, looks, or last names, Maya reminded us, real value comes from character. So next time you walk past someone you think doesn't matter, think again, because the life you save one day might just be your own.